Good night. I'm not sure if everyone is hearing me or what is going on. I guess I'll have to check it out. Hello? All right, so I think everyone should be hearing me. Let me turn up my mic just a little bit. Yeah, that should be good. Everyone should be hearing me. Just a little bit. Yeah, that should be good. All right, right there should be good. I should be very loud right now, at least actually. All right, right there should be good. I should be very loud right now, at least actually. Let's see if the keyboard is playing. All right, that is it for tonight. Well, not it, but that is the introduction for tonight. Tonight, I just want to go in some basic stuff. I'm, I'm not a pro player. I can do a little thing. I can help myself in an event if I'm called upon to play. So we're growing together here on this in this video. I'll be starting out first with with a little background. My name is Jermaine. First and foremost, let me take that mic out of my face a little bit, out of the camera, so you can see my face just a little bit better. I don't know how much better you see me now, but I hope better enough. Yeah. So I'm Jermaine. I started playing music at a very tender age, the very tender age of in my parents' stomach. But I started out with drums. I'm not that great a drummer either. I think my musical journey. I'm not intended to be one of the greats in music. I think I'm a jack of all trade as it relates to different things. I do a little bit of everything except the rhythm guitar. I can only play a little bit of lead on that. Yeah, but I'm active in my church. I play the keyboard in my local church at Old Harbor Bay Church of God of Prophecy, and I oftentimes visit another church, the Seventh Day Baptist, the one at that is currently meeting at the Davis Primary School. Some Saturdays you'll find me there, but and I play sometime at different areas, different events, and I just want to share the little bit that I know because it really is that little bit. And as I said, I'm not a great player, but there are some things that I learned when I didn't learn them when I was starting out. But looking back, I think if I had learned them, maybe my journey would have been a little bit different. I'm not sure. Maybe not. Who knows? Maybe this is where I would have been anyway, and God wants me to be at this place, so He would have made it that I was here anyway. But just saying, it possibly could have helped out my music life a lot. What I want to do now is bring up this PDF. I got it from Sean Wilson Piano. So shout out to Sean Wilson Piano. He has helped my playing so much. I can't even understate or rather overstate the amount help that I've received from Sean Wilson Piano, and a few other prominent musical platforms, like Pretty Simple Music and so forth. And I just want to share the basic knowledge that I've gained. As I said, I still think I'm very at a novice level, but I got this PDF chart from Sean Wilson Piano. I hope that you can see it. So it should be at the side here, next to my face, my wonderful face. So I always start. So let me first start by saying this. I was at, I was playing at this level before I knew half of these things. I knew major trials because you had to do that and finding the tonic because I play in a church, black church, as most Jamaican churches are predominantly black. We're a black nation, and this, so I think I learned these three before I learned any of these here, and well, I learned piano notes as well and sharps and flat, but before I learned intervals like half notes, whole steps, thirds, fifths, perfect fifths, perfect fourths, sevenths, sixths. Before I learned any of that, I was playing major triads because I had to get on the ball rolling with major scales and triads very quickly because the musicians at my church had left. So now at this point in time, I'm trying to go back and train myself in a way, retrain myself to know a lot of these things to get back to the basics so I can improve my playing now. And what I've been learning, I want to share with somebody who is probably fresh in this, somebody who is just learning to play an instrument, just learning to play the keyboard in particular. And so, without further ado, let me just pull up my trusty Midiculous software. So you should be seeing a keyboard before you right now. So I'll be starting out this lesson and using the key of C. Now for all the persons who don't know notes as yet, let's get into that. Every note on the keyboard, on the piano, whatever instrument of this nature that you're playing has a note value or a note name that we give to it. So with the keyboard, we name them by letters of the alphabet. So starting at A, we end at G, and then it just repeats after that. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Then we continue again, start over from A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and we'll start over that pattern till thy kingdom come. There are 12 notes, however, which are on the keyboard. 12 notes. You're going to say, so if it's A to G, how do we get 12 notes? Because I count A to G and I only count, 7 notes? Or 8 notes? Yeah, 7 notes. I only count 7. But the black notes, we give them names in relation to the white notes, which adds up to the 12 notes. So we're going to see how do we identify each note on the keyboard. So if you know your alphabet, like I learned mine in preschool, K1 for those persons who are in kindergarten, and basic school for those persons who went to basic school. I went to a basic school. Big up the Prophecy Basic School. Good school to send your kids. All right. If you're in the Old Harbor Bay area. But yeah, the first thing that I want you to notice is that there are patterns with the black notes. You see a pattern of 2 and then a pattern of 3, and it continues patterns of 2s, 3s, 2s, 3s. And we'll see that repeating across the keyboard. So I'm on a 49 key keyboard, so you won't see all of the notes light up. Maybe if I change the octave, it will take me up to those higher places, but for the time being, my keyboard starts here and it ends here. So those are all the notes you see me use for the time being. So every time we see these 2 notes together, what we should notice, or what we should take note of, is that in the middle is the note D. D as in dog, for those who are having problems hearing my microphone. So once we see the 2 notes together, it's D. I heard one person give liken this to a dog's face. So in the middle is the dog face and the dog ears right there. But if you want to use that, fine. But I just say wherever two, there is D between. Two and only two, D. So once you can find out that D is there, finding out the rest of the notes is a bit easier. At least for the white notes. So if I know D is here and I go from A to G, I know that C must be to the left of that. And then to the left of that should be B, and then we'll drop right at A, where we say is where in the order of letters, that is where we start. So if I know where A is, I can find the rest of the notes on the keyboard. So I know that A is right here. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and it ends at G, and then it starts over at A again. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then it starts over again. A, B, C. My keyboard ends on C. Most of the 61 notes and 49 note keyboard will start on C and end on C. 61 will add another octave of C, and but it will still end on C for the most part. You have the 79, the other larger keyboards, I believe it's 76 and 88 keys. They'll start somewhere else and then wherever they want to end. But yes, for the time being, we know that if we can identify D between these two, we can find where A is anywhere on the keyboard. So we can go and do something like this. So if we know A is here, we know that G should be here, and we're going down the alphabet: G, F, E, D, C, B, A, until we find another A. We can go back until we reach the end of our keyboard. So that is how we identify the white notes. Now, the keyboard has both black and white notes. So if we know the white notes, we have to also know the black notes as well. We know the white notes, we have to identify the black notes. Now, the black notes are named based on the relationship to those white notes. Remember this. We call the black notes sharps and flats. Sharps and flats. Let me get back. So, we call them sharps and flats because when we go up, we call it sharp. We say we are sharpening the note. When we go to our left, which is going down, we say we are flattening the note. And so if we are on, let's say, and every black note has two names because, as I said, it's based on the relationship. So we'll find that one black note is bordered by two white notes. So it will have a name based on the white note to its left, and it will have a name based on the white note to its right. So classic example is this note right here. You see in my software here, it's saying it is D, right? It is D flat rather, D flat, third D flat on the keyboard and overall. Starting here with the D would be, where is it? D flat 0, D flat 1, D flat, but they're all D flat. It's just that they number the amount of notes that are on it. And then D flat 3 is here. So D flat, forget the number for now. Forget the number value for now. But just remember that this is D flat. And that is based on what? This D that is right here, because we go down 1 for that black note. This black note is close to the D. So we go down, it is called the D flat. But if we're coming from here, what do you think it will be called? And I have to switch up my thing for this, because if I don't, you won't see it. This will be named something else too, so don't watch this one. So coming from here, it is D flat, right? But coming from the C, it is what? C sharp. Coming from the C, it is C sharp. And so that is why every note on a keyboard will have every black note on a keyboard will have two names, because it is bordered by two white notes, and it gains the name based on the position to those white notes. So going back, if you have to go back to find that black note, you're flattening, so that we'll have a name based on the note that you're coming from. So if it's going back to D flat, then we know that we are coming from D. But if we call it C sharp, we're calling it in relation to its left neighbor. So if we go through the keyboard, let me pull this back up. We see G's here. We have A flat is here. Why it didn't say G sharp? Because of the tuning of this software. it seems like it is tuned in flats at the moment. Yeah, right now it's tuned in flats. So no matter where I go, it will always come up as flat. I think we can change that, but let's leave it for now. But from here, the note to the left, the black note to the left of that will be A flat. The black note to the right of that will be A sharp. However, it has another name because the white note right here is a B. So you'll see there that it says B flat. So black notes have two names because of that reason. Now, the next thing that I learned, which was important, I didn't know it at the time that at the time that I just started playing the keyboard. I just know that I was touching some notes, going down intervals. So the next thing is understanding what is a semitone. So let's pull this back up. We see here on our chart that we have piano notes that we just went through. We have sharps and flats, which we went through. Half steps and whole steps is the next thing. So those two, let's bring back up Mediculus and let's see. So let's say we are going from here to here, that is called a semitone or a half tone or a half step. But if we're moving from here to here, this is called a whole tone or a whole step or a tone. So what was the difference between those two? For the first one, you're right, I moved down only one note. But for the second one, I skipped out that black note and then I came here. So half notes are semitones or half step. You don't skip any notes. It doesn't matter which note you're on. If you're on a black note, you don't skip any note. You just go to the next note, which is white. So from here to here would be a semitone or a half step. From here to here would be another semitone or a half step. So if we come here and we move down one, it's still a semitone or half step because we didn't skip any notes. However, the tone or the full step, or the full tone or the full step, they say tone for short because it's one tone. We skip one. So whether you're on a black key or a white note, if you're on D flat and you skip this white note here and drop here, that was a full tone movement. And if you're on this white note and you skip this black note to come here, that is a full tone. But if you move from here to here, it's a semitone because we didn't skip anything to go here. If we move from here to here, it's a semitone. We didn't skip anything. But if we move from here to here, or we move down and skip this, if we move up and skip this, and we move down from the G flat to this and we skip this white note, then from here to here is a tone, from here to here is a tone. Yeah, so that is a part of the fundamental understanding of the movement of notes and how to identify and form these notes. So forming major triads was another part of the novice level that in that PDF, and we form major triads by understanding the movement of our semitones and tones, right? We form our major triads by doing something like that, finding out how many tones and semitones you have to move to get them. We have a formula. So if you want to find the major triad of any note, we first identify that note. Let's say we identify this as A flat, and we call this note the root position or the one position. And from the one position, we go up by 2 tones to find the third note that will be in our major triad. Triad, as it says, speaks of 3, right? So triad speaks of 3. So you'll have it including the root note and 2 other notes to form the one chord, the one triad chord. So let's go in and see if we can find the triad of, let's say, C. Let's give it a bit easy and simple. Now, the formula to find the triad is first we have to go up by 2 tones. Remember, we just learned that tone, we don't skip any. So to find 2 tones from here, we'd skip this black note to land here for the first tone. And then we'd skip this black note to land here for the second tone. So we hold these two notes. We don't hold on to that first tone that we skipped. We hold on to it when we find the second tone. And so we find two notes already in this major triad chord. Next, we move up one tone and then one semitone. So this would be tone, tone to find the second note, and then tone, semitone. So we find one tone from this second note here is here because we skip this to find one tone, and then a semitone from here we drop down on the G. So this is C major triad. See, we hold the one note and we'll see it come up as C3 because it's just telling us the what which number we are at. So we start off on C1, as I said, the first C on the keyboard, second C, so this is the third C. But you realize as we hold the card, the number comes off and it just says C because we're now holding the C chord. And if we look over to the right side of this application that I'm in over here, you'll see the notes that you hold on to form that C chord. C, E, G. C, E, G. So a lot of your playing will revolve around these triads. I'm just holding it with two hands. It's the same thing I'm holding here. C, E, G, C, E, G. Holding it with two hands. But you're going to find that a lot of, you're playing and a lot of, music surrounds a lot using triads and other forms of chords. But triads are very important to know the basis of other chords, where you move, the relationships. So we start off by knowing our triads, our scales, and so on and so forth. Now, today I'm not going to cover everything. That is where I wanted to stop today, because all of those things that I just mentioned are related in some way, using piano notes and the sharps and flats, which are a part of the piano notes, and your interval of whole and half notes to find major triad chords, which are very pivotal to playing, music today. It's the first level, I'd say, of learning the keyboard or most other rhythm instruments. The triad is a very popular, common, thing to use. You hear C triad, G triad. No, of course, we don't call it triad while we're in the moment. We just say C chord, major C. And we'll call the chord just by its name, or if we are saying major, minor, diminished, whatever we want to use terms, and we'll learn the terminologies as we go along. But that's it for today's lesson. I hope that you learned something. I hope that I was not a bad teacher. I know that I talk really quickly. People have said that, but I hope that you were able to learn something nonetheless, right? Peace out. God is good.